Hello, is my voice audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So everyone have gone through the UVM interview handbook which I have provided. Hello.
studying.
Okay. So have any queries related to those?
No,
Okay, so far we have discussed different things like evolution of UVM and what are the different features are there in the UVM, and we have also gone through means what are the limitations of the previous other hardware languages, and over that what UVM has extra add-ons which is making everyone in the industry to adopt the UVM. So all those things we have gone through, right? And we have also gone through the UVM test bench architecture, and we have also gone through the TB flow of the test bench architecture. I mean, it's like from where the flow of the root component, how it gets created, and how everything is done. And we have also gone through the different phases in UVM, right? So let me ask some questions before moving further. So then what are the phases which are time consuming, and what are the phases which are zero time consuming phases? Can anyone tell me how many time consuming phases we have in UVM?
run phase is the time consuming. Remaining that it is zero simulation time.
Okay. What about others? Is she right, or is there anything else you guys want to add in? Okay, what are the different kinds of phases in UVM?
Build phase, runtime phase, and cleanup phase.
Correct. So what is the approach followed by the build phase?
It's a top-bottom approach,
Okay.
and for a cleanup phase, it is a bottom-up approach.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Fine. And if we want to connect any one of the component to the other component in our test bench architecture, which phase do we use?
We use build phases.
Is it build phase to connect one phase to the other phase?
No. Connect phase. Connect phase.
Yeah, in the name itself it is right, connect phase. It's easy to remember also. And what else we have? What is the base class for the transaction class? Means the transaction class if we have, from which base class we inherit the transaction class.
UVM sequence driver.
UVM sequence item.
Correct. Yeah. It's not UVM sequence driver, it is UVM sequence item. Okay. And what else have we discussed? What is the main functionality of the BFM in the test bench architecture? What is the other name for BFM?
Drivers,
Okay.
they convert the transaction items into pin level activity.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And what about the monitor?
It samples the DUT signals,
Uh, DUT outputs, basically. Whatever
DUT
DUT
outputs.
gives. How the monitor will get the DUT output?
Through the interfaces.
Correct. Yeah. So even the driving will happen through the interface, even the collection or the sampling also happens through the interface. So now, any one of you, if someone asks you to to draw the test bench architecture of UVM, will you able to draw? Every one of
Yes,
you?
yes.
Yes,
Great. And what is verbosity in UVM?
UVM medium.
So what is a verbosity actually in UVM?
Which is used to
What?
filter message.
Okay, okay. So what are the different types of verbosities we have in UVM?
None, low, medium, high.
Okay. So what is the default verbosity level set in the UVM if we don't give it
Medium.
explicitly? Okay,
Medium.
fine. What are the different severity levels and why do we have, what is the purpose of the severity basically? Anyone?
It will display warning errors. Means there are four
Okay,
different info, warning, error, fatal.
okay, okay, fine. So is everyone there? I think so, almost everyone is fine. What is active agent and what is passive agent?
Active agent contains sequencer, driver, monitor, whereas
Hmm.
passive agent contains only monitor.
Okay. What is the requirement of passive agent when we have active agent? Why do we need two different kinds of agents?
Because diver and sequence atom, it is interfaced with it's like handshaking signal. It will sample the signals through the DOT, so that there it is active. The monitor is nothing but it just pass the signal to the scoreboard
No, no,
and
no. I'm not asking what is active agent, what is passive agent. I'm asking what is the real-time application of the passive agent? Pranit already explained what is active agent, what is passive agent. So the question is, what is the real-time application of passive agent? When do we use passive agent? Anyone? Yesterday we have discussed about it, right?
If I want to check the signals of the slave, for that purpose we use passive agents. We don't need
Can
to
you
try
be
it.
just little louder if you don't mind?
Uh, if in DUT, if there are master and slave,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I will use passive agent for the slave because
Okay.
master will be driving the slave, so there is no need
Mm-hmm.
to use a driver and sequencer. So I
Mm-hmm.
will use a passive agent.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, then it seems like everyone is clear with all the concepts what we have covered so far. So if anyone have any queries, we can discuss. Otherwise, I'll move forward.
And I have a doubt.
What is the doubt?
Ma'am, if my driver is accepting two transaction items of two different transaction items,
Okay.
how will I how will I write get next item that
We
method?
haven't discussed that yet, right? The driver sequence flow. So far, what we have discussed within that, do you have any queries?
Not no, no ma'am. I don't.
Okay. So what is scoreboard in UVM? Why do we need scoreboard? It's right there on the screen, right? Can anyone tell what is scoreboard?
It checks the functionality of DUT.
Okay.
Scoreboard
And
compares actual values with reference values.
Okay. There. Fine. So, where exactly can anyone explain me the UVM flow, execution flow from where it starts and how the entire flow yesterday we had discussed, right? So, can any one of you just tell that? Because that is really important to know the one who is aware of UVM.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I joined today. Can you please tell me again the UVM flow,
Have
if
you
you don't
gone through the
mind?
recordings?
Actually, ma'am, I got the recording at the evening, so it's
Okay. I don't think so. You have got the recordings evening. I gave it to you
actually,
somewhere around 3:40 somewhere like this.
that time I was in office, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. You just go through the recordings before the next session. But for now, as you have asked, I will just explain you the flow or the UVM test flow. So that's why anyone else who I would like to hear from anyone so that it will be helpful for Vinay as well. Yesterday we all were there in the session, right?
Yeah, in the top module, in the initial block, there is line called run test. It starts from
Wait,
there.
wait. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in the top block, in the line number 39, run test.
Yeah.
It starts from there. Inside
Hmm.
the run test, there is a test case name. So
Hmm.
it goes to test block.
Hmm.
So inside a test, we have
Is everyone able to hear
environment.
Deepak?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, guys, I will explain Vinay for you. So we have something called the top module, right? Inside top module, we have inside the initial block, this run test argument will be there. Actually, from here, initial of the root component which is there, right? When we run this run test, we will be passing one argument here. So this is the particular test name, which test you want to run. If you don't pass the test name, so whatever test name you will give through your command line argument, that will work. If you haven't given anything, then by default means this one. So this test will get executed. When we invoke this run test, the how it will work is after invoking this run test, it will go and it will create one test component. That is something called root component. So this will happen in build phase. So in all the build phase, the any of the entity is getting constructed. So we have different phases in UVM build phase. And then run phases and cleanup phases. And inside build phase, we have build phase, connect phase, all that. So all the construction of the objects is done in build phase, and the connection between the different objects is done in connect phase. So inside test we have environment. Inside environment it is agent. Inside agent we have sequence driver and monitor. So this is how the entire flow works. So in UVM everything is very interlinked. If you haven't attended any session, so that's why people are asking the recordings, right? So you have to make use of the recordings. You make sure that you go through the recordings and come to the session, because if you don't go through the session and come to the next session, even this is like you are not attending only, because everything is interlinked. Na? It will be very confusing for you to understand further. So that's why everyone just go through the recordings and then come to the session. Okay. So today, is it clear, Vinay, for you? Like what is the UVM test bench flow?
Yes, ma'am.
So yesterday we have stopped till near the different phases, right? So today we have to go through the factory. So there is something called UVM factory, where actually as we have yesterday we discussed it, there are two hierarchies basically. One is the UVM component hierarchy and the other one is UVM object. So can anyone tell which is the UVM object? Which class is registered using UVM object?
Transaction
Transaction and
class sequence.
yeah, correct. So transaction class and sequence class both are under the UVM object. So why we need this is based on that which is component means we have to register in the factory using that particular component macro. And if it is an object means we need to register that particular object with the object macro. Okay, so these are the two different macros. And exactly why do we need the factories in the UVM? Like when we register any component in the factory, it is easy for us to reuse in the further. Means, for example, you want to override any one of the driver functionality with some other driver which you have. So without changing everything in the test bed, just if it is registered in the UVM factory, we can use that, and by having the factory override method, we can just replace this driver with the driver which you want to use. So all these things can happen only if they are registered in the UVM factory. And it is like a lookup table, like it will have all the things related to the different components, whatever we are using. And it we can also have something like so when we are doing it in the factory, right, you need to use the create method. So you should not be using just new, like how in system Verilog we would construct just by the new constructor, right? Instead of that, if we want to use we in the UVM factory, then we need to use the create method. Actually, even the create again will go for new method only, but in the UVM factory we have the create, right? In the UVM methodology we have create. That's why we have to use the create method. Okay. So we will go through like if the UVM component, what is the macro and what are the different arguments in that macro, and what we will go through. So we need to know like how to register a component in the factory and how to register an object in the factory. So as Manideep said, we have only sequence and transaction are the objects, right? Rest all of the components. So component means it will have the parent, but in the object means it is not have coming under the hierarchy, right? So it will not have the parent as the argument. So that's what we'll be having here. If any of the component, if you see in that code, once after the class is been inherited from its base class, the next step is UVM component utils for the components. And if it is the same for object, it is like UVM object utils. So we will even see the codes. If you see here, driver, UVM component utils, and the class name, whatever you take, that you have to pass it over here. With this, you are registering your RAM underscore write driver as one of the component in the factory. And then sequencer is also a component. For every component, whichever is there, you will be finding the first line after the class declaration is this UVM component utils. Okay. And then we have something here next. Everything, whatever comes under the component, no, every component will be having the same thing, the component utils and all. Okay. So now we will see other thing is what is the object utils, right? So we will see how to register a object in the factory. That is the macro you have to use is stick UVM object utils for which one, transaction and sequence sequences. So for these two, we will be using the object utils. We will see the code as well. So this is RAM. So the RAM underscore write runs, here we have something called object utils, because this is transaction sequence item, right? So the transaction class is an object. So we need to use the object utils. By mistakenly, if you have given the component utils, in that case, it will definitely give us error. So inside the object utils, you have some more things also. That is, you can give like tick UVM field, like write enable UVM all on. Like this, you can give the different whatever attributes we are using in the transaction class, right? All those things you have to mention in the UVM field int. These things we do because if we want to print something, for all those, these will be useful. So this is the feature given by the UVM. It's good if we use. If you don't use also, it will not give us any error. Okay. So as there are multiple statements within that, you need to include this begin and end. If you see the sequence, no, there you will not be having all that. it's just a UVM object utils like how we had for different components, right? That is a UVM object utils RAM based sequence. So we are not going in depth of what is this field int and what are the different attributes we have. If you guys are interested, you can go through regarding all those UVM all on whatever is that. There are so many other methods also other than UVM all on. You can just go through from your end, okay? And then we will see. So I said, right, in the component means there will be no parent. There will be parent, but if it is an object, there will be no parent to that. So the constructor default which we'll be using for this classes to be created, no, for the UVM component, it will be like this, like function you will be write like string name component and UVM component parent as null and the super dot new of name comma parent. These are the standard things which you have to do it for every one component and every object also. So you just have to remember like these are the things, and this is some of the virtual methods which are there in the UVM library. So that we are just giving it here, okay. And if for the object, it is, as I said, there will be only one argument. But if it is component, we'll be having two different arguments. The same thing you will observe in the code as well. So this is the object, right? Any of the sequence if I say. So this is the object, right? So that's why you will write function new string name as the sequence, whatever particular sequence class name is there, that you have to pass it over here. As it is an object, there won't be the parent and all. So there only one argument you will be having. So then super dot new of name. This is what you will do it. And then in every component, it is like you have to give two different arguments. The name will be the same class name which is there, and the UVM component parent as null you will give. And then the super dot new of name comma parent. So this is standard. You just by the time you write so many codes, then you will be habituated. So in any class, if you go and observe, first thing is you have to inherit from the base class. Then you have to register that component in the factory. And then if there are some things, for example, env. Env is a container which has the different agents and scoreboards as a reference model, right? So if you will have to create inside that particular env. So you need those handles, right? So you will declare those handles. This is the third thing you will do. And then the constructor default, whatever is there, those things you have to declare, right? The function you will have to create it. And you have to see this is a component, so we'll have two arguments. One is a string name and the other one is the component parent. You just have to give it as null. And then the other thing is, so now these all our things are done. Then the env, what is the thing? We have to just create the different components present in that particular env container, right? So that's why we will take the build phase. We will create all the things. And then inside env, if there are any connections to the other components in the UVM architecture, those things you will include in the connect phase. So now in this code, everything it can be understood by you guys because you have the knowledge of everything. Only the thing is you don't have an idea is this ports. So this ports also today in this session we will cover. So after that, if you see almost most of the things in this particular file, at least for the environment file, it is covered. Okay. So likewise, if you see the agent also, they
Hello.
can have, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I joined late. Like, I have two
Yeah.
questions.
Yes.
Can you open the RAM environment? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, while you are constructing that new, right? So you pass parent as a null. Can you tell me, like, in which scenarios you will pass this instead of null?
In which scenarios? Like if it is
Yeah,
the very topmost in the config DB is there, okay? You will be setting right at the top level. There also you will provide null because there is nothing higher than that, like that. If you see.
So, okay. So so then in UVM cases, all the all the components and stimuluses we are deriving from other classes, right? Base classes. So
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
case, we don't use this. Like everywhere we'll use null.
We use null, correct.
Okay. Okay, got it. So second one is you
Hmm.
told the two macros, UVM component utils and one more is
Yeah.
object utils. So what
Yeah.
is the purpose of that line itself? Like why we need
To
to register?
register in the factory. Basically, if this component
Okay.
has to be registered in the factory, there is a concept called UVM factory, right? Where why do we use UVM factories? The different components has to be, if we register all the components which we are using in the factory or the different objects in the factory, so there is a like a lookup table which will be formed in that. So using that information, if suppose I want to, we have in this particular testament, we have something called write driver. But I have one more from one more agent, I have something called read driver. Means other than this testament architecture, I have one more driver or something. So if I want to replace this driver with the other driver, you have to do manually, right? If you use the UVM factory, we can just override it by using the UVM factory override method and just replace this particular instance with the instance which you want to perform. Means whatever the driver operations you are doing in your other driver, if you want to replace those operations from the current driver, you can do it very easily. So all these things, in order to utilize those different features, it is important, it is recommended to register all the components or the objects in the UVM factory. So in order to register that, we use this macro.
So as I understood, just to override these components, we are registered in this factory, right?
Yeah, there are
So
different methods to override, like instance override, type override, like that we have in the UVM factory.
So suppose if I don't want to have scenario like where I don't need to override, okay? In that sense, if I remove this line number 4, then also my this test bench will works.
See, when there is a feature in the UVM, like I said yesterday, even $display works. UVM info also works. But if you use UVM info, you have something like verbosity, everything is add-on. In the same way, if you use UVM factory, if you register the component in the UVM factory, it will be easy if you want to print some topology. How will you print if it is not registered in the factory? It's not possible, right? You have something like you can print the topology. So those things you cannot do if you don't register those in the factory. So it is always in every test bench, if you see, all the components and the objects are registered in the UVM factory.
Okay, so but it is like kind of an add-on, right? This is not like mandatory thing, right?
It is mandatory only, you can think, because
Okay.
with that you have so many enhanced features, right? So it's if you find any test bench, everywhere you will find that the components or objects are registered in the factory.
Okay, got it. Okay, sorry, I'm taking so much time. Yeah, yesterday you discussed about the phases, right? So many phases are I think start of simulation phase, end of elaboration and all. But I mean, yesterday also I saw you only like most of the things are using build phase and connect phase and run phase. Other phases are not using. Like, is there any particular reason for that, or?
Means usually this end of elaboration phase always are there. Means if you go through the description, no, they have something like in the regular projects we don't use most of the people, but if it is used, it is well and good. Means like end of elaboration phase we can use to print the topology, and all those we can use. But this is a simple basic project, and that's why they haven't used. But there is no rule that we should not use those phases. It's good always to explore the different features available in the UVM. In my knowledge, it's better to explore and try to do any activities that can be performed in that particular phases. It's good to know. At least at the time of your practice, no? In those times, you can just explore. You can just try different ways, and you can do like how it is working. You can make the observation to understand more well about the different purposes of the phases.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So this is all about the UVM factory registration for both the component and object, and we have also seen the different construction defaults also, right? So for the component, it is both the RAM, ENV, and the component as null. And if it is object, means there won't be the UVM component parent argument. There will be only related to the name. So just remember these things related to the UVM factory. Okay. So
Ma'am,
then I
may
have
I-
also, yeah.
ma'am, there is
Yeah.
there is a one scenario where I will
Hmm.
extend my base test from UVM test.
Okay.
Then
Base
after
test from
I will
UVM
extend
test or UVM test from base test?
yeah, parent is UVM test and
UVM test is a parent, and you are having the base test, and you are inheriting from the UVM test. Is it so?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay.
Afterwards, I will write a child test case which is extending from the
Base
base test.
test.
Okay.
Okay.
So in child test, what I should need to write now? UVM component parent equal to what I should I keep the base test
UVM
or
component parent you are telling?
yeah, yes, ma'am.
Wait, I will show the same scenario I have. See. Yeah. See, we have a sequence which is been extended from the base sequence, but you are asking about the test, no? But test we are directly doing from the no, I think even there. This is the RAM test. So which question you have asked? No, the same thing here. This RAM test is there, right? So this is extended from the UVM test, okay? And this is one of the base tests. We can assume that this is the base test. And this test you are using here, okay? And you are extending some other test. So this is our base test and this is your child test in your question, okay? And so the thing you will have to understand is if there is nothing above it, there is no parent at all, then only you will be using like instead of null, you will be just giving like this. Means you are pointing that this is only the parent. So that's why even in this case, the UVM component parent will be null itself. If you see
Okay.
to understand, no, the sequence why we are giving us this here because it doesn't have parent and we are trying to say that for this right sequence that this is the parent, right? So in those cases, you know what is the this indicates, right? In the system very long
Yes,
we
ma'am.
will be understanding.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So once just go through that so that you will get more understanding when to use null and when to use this operator. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Now your doubt is clear, right? Like in that particular child test, what the UVM component parent should be given.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, in this case,
Mm-hmm.
in the line number 68, 69, you use this, right?
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
is like saying
This is
we are
actually
creating
the
this.
sequence that we are about to discuss. Like in the factory, usually in the system Verilog, we have the new constructor, right? We just use new. But in the UVM factory, if you want to register and you want to have that flow, it's recommended to use the create method instead of new. So for the create method, what will be the syntax is, for example, this is the base sequence and you are creating the handle for that particular sequence. So you need to give your object here and inside that here you have to give the sequence name for that. Means from which we are creating the object, that one. And then you have to give the type ID and then you have to give the create and inside that we have to give the object name and we have to give the argument as this. So here this create also again inside that it will go and run that new only. But in the UVM it's always recommended to use the create. So if you see in the ENV also yesterday we saw something like create all this, right? So wherever you want to create that particular in that particular container ENV we have different agent or something. So all those things wherever we need to create those you have to use this create method. So the syntax is common for everything to create.
Okay, so while you're creating, you mentioned this right
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
second. So this is supposed to say like we are creating these like objects in this class. That is the reason we are giving this
Yeah,
keyword
correct,
there.
correct.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks.
So this is about the different constructor defaults and the create method also we have gone through, right? So the create versus new is nothing but that's what I'm telling. When it is in the UVM hierarchy or the UVM methodology, instead of using new, if you use new also it will work. It will not give us any error, but you cannot use the UVM factory, all those features which we have. So it is always recommended to use the create method instead of new. Sorry. Okay. So now we will say something called the driver sequence handshake. Yesterday we were discussing, right? We have something called driver sequence handshake in the UVM. So there is an execution flow in the driver sequence handshake. There is something called sequence and we have driver, right? In between that we have a sequencer. So we all know that the sequencer is responsible for routing the sequence items which are generated by the sequence to the driver, right? So, but there is a flow between us. In the sequence side, we have some methods, and at the driver side also we have some methods. So, what are those methods? Are like at the sequence side, we have something called start item. So, from here, it will get initiated, and when it is initiated, the sequencer will undergo the arbitration, and what it will do is it will wait. It will wait for the access from the driver. Means from the driver, it is waiting for the access that it is ready to accept the sequence item provided by the sequence. So then it will provide the sequence item, and the driver, this is the get next item what we have at the driver. So this get next item will start executing when it finds that the sequence item has been there in that particular channel which is there in between the sequence and driver. Means the sequence is giving the sequence item to the sequencer, right? So there is a port connected between the sequence and driver through the sequencer. So that port, if when it observes the sequence item, at that point it will start the execution. It will just unblock it. So basically, this is the blocking method. I have mentioned like whether it's a blocking, non-blocking, all that. Yeah. So here it's easy to understand. Like we have at the sequence side we have start item and finish item. At the driver we have get next item and item done. So get next item is a blocking method, and what else a blocking method is, even this item done is a non-blocking method. The finish item is also a blocking method. Okay, so just remember like this, like the finish item is a blocking method and the driver is a blocking method. So, so what it is saying is the start item, this requires the sequencer to have the access of the driver. So it is waiting for the access from the driver. Once it gets the access, once it gets the grant, it will return the sequence item. So now when it is returning the sequence item between the sequence and driver, so in that particular code, when it is finding the sequence item from the driver, at that point, this blocking method which is there, right, that will just unblock. And then the next part of the get next item, after that, whatever execution process is, execution process are there, number of set of statements are there, those will be executed. So what will be done in that execution is this, whatever sequence items are there, that will be converted into the pin level activity. Yesterday we were telling, right, the transactions will be converted into the pin level activity. So after this get next item, in those statements only, it will get converted into the pin level activity. And then after that, once the method returns a sequence item which is translated to the pin level activity, then it will also have the other method called the item done. So this finish item will be waiting for this item done. When the item done is given from the driver side, then only this finish item will start executing at the sequence side. So here if you see this method results in the driver receiving the sequence item, and it's a blocking method which returns only after the driver calls the item done. So when the item done is called, it is a non-blocking call signal to the sequencer that it can unblock the sequence finish item method either when the driver accepts the sequences request or it has executed it. Means from the sequence, all the sequence items are done, all the pin level activity is done, and then after it has received that sequence items and it has or it either it has received or it starts the execution, means the execution is started. At that point it will tell to the sequence that this is the item done is executed. Now you can start executing this finish item. So this is the entire handshake between the driver and the sequencer. If we will see in the code perspective, it will be more understandable. So we have something called sequence. Yeah. So if you see here, we have something called start item, and then inside that whatever randomization is done and whatever with this particular sequence, whatever operations are done, that are done here, okay? And here the transaction is getting transferred. So when we are using the start, here only we have start item and finish item. Okay, and you are passing the particular transaction, means trans edge is nothing but your particular transaction handle. So you are passing it. And at the driver side, now we will see first the start item will execute. And then after that, what it will happen, it will wait for the driver access. So the grant, as soon as it gets the access, no, then it will send the sequence item. Through the sequencer port. So once the driver observes that there is some sequence item is got into that particular channel, then the get next item gets unblocked and then the particular statement will execute it. Let me show you in the driver. So now this is the get next item, sequence item port dot get next item. This is the syntax which you have to follow. And this sequence item code, which is there, it is all internal. It is an API which is there. So we are just writing some 2 to 3 lines from that to execute the entire procedure. But in the UVM library, everything is there. That's why people are adopting UVM because all the entire mechanism will be there in the UVM library. Just that we have to understand the basic, like what is the handshake process between the driver and sequence. That's why we are trying to analyze this. So now we have sequence item dot get next item, the request. Yesterday I told, right? In the driver, you can directly use the request. Whether whatever the transaction handle it could be, it will assume that this is the request because from the sequence we are passing the transaction, right? So it will just correlate to that the same transaction item. So you can pass anything over here, like here we are passing the request, okay? And then the send to DUT where we are driving the thing. So all this will be inside this get next item and the item done. So though you write different tasks, all those tasks have to be called inside this run phase, inside this forever begin, inside the get next item and item done. So this is a driver concept basically. If you see now everything you are familiar with, even with the drivers. The first is the driver class, which we are extending from the UVM driver, and then we are registering that particular driver in the factory using, as it is a component, you are using UVM component utils, and this is which you have to understand still what is a virtual interface. We will cover it in the next classes. And the next one is the constructor default, that is function new, which we are using. As this is a component, we have both string name and the component parent. It has to be null. We have already discussed why it has to be null. And then we have different phases, right? In the driver, we have to execute the run phase. So inside the run phase, this is also you have to know like task, run phase, UVM phase. This is all of the virtual methods which will be there in the UVM library. You are just using them here to get the functionalities of all those run phases. So you are writing this and you have to provide super dot run phase of phase. And then you are inside the forever begin, you will have this get next item and item done. So many might ask you what is the handshake process of the sequence item, sequence and the driver. So you should be able to know what are the different methods we have at the sequence side and what are the different methods we have at the driver side. And you have to explain the same way now how I have explained you. Like in the sequence, the start item is there, like then the driver it will execute, then it will execute item done, then it will go to the sequence side finish item. So this is the flow you have to explain, and you have to tell that even the get next item is a blocking method, and start item whatever, and the item done is not blocking, right? So that is non-blocking method, and again the finish item is a blocking method. Why we are telling blocking means until it is receiving any request from the item done, this is not going further. So it is blocking the way, right? So that's why we say that it is a blocking method. Okay. So this is the entire flow of the sequence and driver. So this driver sequence handshake, this is in the same pictorial representation they are putting it. So you can just go through this like the entire in the recording also. If it is confusing for you guys for now, again you can go through the recording and understand the driver sequence handshake very well, because that is one of the important concept which you should know. Okay. Is it clear for everyone regarding the driver sequence handshake?
Yes, like where can we find this start item, finish item, and get next item done method implementations?
So my screen was visible or not when I showed the code?
No, it is visible. I'm saying
Okay,
like you're
yeah.
just calling, you're using that functions, right? Get next
Yeah.
item.
Yes.
If I want to, So if I want to look up that method implementation.
Source code.
Yes,
You
yes,
can
yes, yes.
find UVM libraries, and you find in some UVM things like any of the UVM. In the Google, you can just find the source code of this particular get next item, or like that you can search. In any
Okay.
of the reference materials, you might not find, but the standard UVM books you might find.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because there you're sending the transaction item, right? So okay, how it will send to the driver?
Yeah, you can go through once.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So shall we move to the next part? Everyone have understood the driver sequence handshake? Please respond, any one of you.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So then next it comes the TLM. So can anyone tell what is TLM? What TLM stands for?
Transaction leveling modeling.
Why is it called as transaction level modeling? Why it is called as transaction level modeling? Is it because the communication happens in terms of transaction items?
Yes, I think the communication is happening in transactions, right? So,
Yeah, correct. So the transaction level modeling is basically to establish a connection between the one component to the other component. So the first component which is trying to establish the connection, the other component which is trying to get the connection is called as the producer and consumer in this case, or it could be the initiator or target. So whatever through that particular channel only we will be trying to send our transaction items, right? That's why we call it as transaction level model. So here the TLM, we have different kinds of TLM codes. One is we have analysis code. We have simple TLM code and export, and we have something like TLM FIFO. So we have different kind of things for different applications. So the analysis code is nothing but if we have say a requirement to send from one component to the many, means you are trying to broadcast, you are doing one to many connection. In that case, it is it is preferred to take the analysis code. Otherwise, you can take the TLM codes, or otherwise you can take the TLM FIFO codes. So when it is one to many, why should we take the analysis code? Do anyone have any idea? What is the advantage of using the analysis port?
We can send the monitor packets to scoreboard and coverages at the same time.
Okay.
So in that case, we can do analysis.
Yeah. There is any more advantages you guys are aware of? If not, that is okay. I'll tell you. So basically, analysis port gives an advantage of having the zero connection as well. It gives the one-to-many connection also, and it also zero connection also. It will not give us any error saying that it is not connected to anywhere. It has zero connection. There could be a scenario where at the beginning you have the different components, and then with some UVM factory or you are trying to remove that particular component, and you don't want to use it further. In that case, you can just remove that connection. It can have the zero connection also. It will not give you any error saying that it is left unconnected. So that is the main advantage of using the analysis ports. Okay. And the TLM FIFO ports is when we have, for example, we have something like bridge, right? APB to AHP bridge, like this protocol. Why do we have that bridge? Is because one of the protocol has high speed, one of the protocol has low speed. In that case, there might be a data loss, right? So that's why we use that bridge, right? It's like acting as a FIFO. What is a bridge basically? It is acting as a FIFO. This is putting the data in its own pace, and this is collecting the data in its own pace. So doing that way also, it is not losing the data because we are providing a memory where it can store the data. Right. In the same way, we have something called TLM FIFO where we can store the data. Means the producer can put the data in that FIFO and consumer can just retrieve the data from that FIFO. So this is one of the ports called TLM FIFO port. The other one is just a simple TLM port, and the other side it will be either a implementation port or it will be the export port. We will just discuss all those. So this is what we have like TLM transaction level modeling I have mentioned, right? So this is basically if we want to pass a message from one component to the other component, for that we use. So we are telling that we can pass all that, but how? It should have some methods, right? So there are something called get method, put method, peek method. And then try get, try put, try peek. So do anyone know what are the get method, put method, what do they do? Anyone of you just even can guess by the naming convention.
Ma'am, they work as a mailbox.
Yeah, like how in the system Verilog, in UVM it is
Yeah.
replacing with the TLM, correct. So get means it is retrieving the data, put means it is putting the data. Peek means it is not deleting. Even after get, it is not deleting. That is called peek. Try get, try put, try peek means it is non-blocking. Get means if you are writing get, one after that only the other one will happen. But try get means even though the execution is not happened, it will go to the next step. Like how the non-blocking works, right? In the same way. So that's why we say that get, put, peek are the blocking methods and try get, try put, try peek are the non-blocking methods. So you are indicating using try as a non-blocking. So just remember that what are blocking methods, what are non-blocking methods. So now we will see the different. We have something called blocking ports, which we said, right? Put port are there, get different things are there. So what will be the syntax and what are the things we have to be saw at the producer side and what we have to see at the consumer side? All those things we will discuss. So now this generator is there, right? The generator is the initiator here. Means is nothing but the producer here. And the driver is nothing but the target or the consumer. Means the component which is trying to receive the data. So these are the different components we have. So in the generator class, we are trying to put the data. So in that case, what you can write UVM underscore blocking put port, and you are parameterizing that the same transaction. Here it is trans. In your architecture, in your transaction class, whatever is there, that you have to use. Okay, you have to pass that particular transaction. So you are doing the put port. So now you have to create that put port, right? So the whatever like how we are creating different components like that, we have to create the ports also. So for that you can just in the function new, you can just give the put port is equal to new of this. Just you by using new you can create this. Okay, there is no need of registering this in the factory or something, right? So just the connection for this is the syntax for this. Like in the TLM port, if we have to use it, first we need to declare it, then we need to create it, and then we have to use the implementation method of that. What is the implementation method at the generator side? Means whatever means things you are trying to put. For example, from the generator, you want to put some transactions, right? So those things you have to, whatever generated transactions are there, that you will use this put port. So this is the port name now. So dot, the method which you have, we have different methods, right? Dot put of the transaction. Through this, you are putting the transactions into this basically the TLM connection into the port, and that has to be implemented at the driver side or the target side, right? So that is this is the syntax. Like the same thing will be there, just instead of port here it will be implementation, and then you are parameterizing. Here you will have two arguments. One is a transaction, and the other thing is the class, which in which class you are trying to retrieve. No, that class name you have to pass it over here, and you have to write put implementation, and the same thing has to be created how it has been created here. Okay, and then we have the implementation method here. So like we have to do the task put of transaction. So when you are giving like this, no, trans and transit, it is receiving the data of the transit and it is putting inside this trans. So this is the basic TLM connection, establishing the connection between the two different components. And you also have to observe the pictorial representation. If you see in our test bench architecture also, I don't know how many of you have observed that. See, here also, if you see, we have mentioned with the different, we are representing with the different kinds of symbols, right? This is all because we are trying to understand this is port, this is export like that, okay? So that's why we will go to the. So this is a blocking code where here this is the port, means if it's a square, it is representing with a square, it is port, and the other one is the export. Okay, if this is represented with a circle, that is export. Is it clear for everyone?
Ma'am, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, at this place of put import, can we are not using get import as this was not getting the data from the port generator. So we are not using the, as we know that put for sending data and for getting for.
See, whatever port we use means, for example, you are using the put port. The same you have to use the implementation at the other end. Because here they are trying to put the data into the TLM connection. And for that particular thing only, you need to do the implementation. So I have the other example also. Yeah, so this is the other example where you are using the get code, okay? So here it is from driver to the generator. Means driver will get the data from the generator, right? So in that case, what you can do is from the driver side, you can use the get code, and at the generator side, you can implement this whatever. Actually, it is not gen implementation. It should be the get implementation. Or this is the user defined name. Actually, you can provide anything as well. So whatever get you use, right? The same thing implementation you have to use. Actually, this is get only. It's not gen. So get implementation, you will do it. Okay. And then The get port you have to create it, and the implementation port you have to create it here as well. Okay, the same procedure. But basically, if you are trying to put the data, you will use the put port, and you will implement the same side, whatever at the port side. So based on the initiator, what you use, the other side which is receiving, no, there you have to use the implementation method. So if you remember that, it will be easy for you guys.
So, ma'am, it is different, little bit different from system Verilog, as we know
Yeah.
that we use put for sending data and we use get for getting the data. So
No,
here
it
is
is not. I
different.
am just telling that we are replacing that mechanism with TLM. It won't be like same how it is there, right? Here we have different mechanism. We have port and implementation. So port means it is trying to put the data, and implementation means it is trying to if the target side, if you are trying to do it, is an implementation. So whatever you will use at the port side, the same thing you have to use. That is one point. The other point is like here you can have like different types of there is only put get like that, right? So here we have different type like DLM FIFO, we have DLM analysis port, we have everything, we have some extra things in the UVM, which is giving us more reusability basically.
Okay, ma'am.
So you have to get familiar with the syntax of all this, and you also have to get familiar with the pictorial representation, because if someone asks you to write it, draw the test bench architecture, you should be able to write those, right? Then someone will ask you, why have you taken this? Why have you taken this? What is it trying to represent? So you should be able to explain them. So you have to go through the syntaxes also. Okay. And then we have something like TLM port connections. Yeah. So basically what we are trying to do is, so this is at the driver and initial generator level, right? So if we are trying to do the thing at the top level, we use the connect phase, right? So where we, for example, ENV inside ENV, we have different agents, right? So agents, if we want to connect, so you have, we yesterday also we have gone through in the code, right? In the connect phase, we are trying to connect the different things. So that if you want to do inside the agent, for here in this example, we are doing inside the agent. So what we have to do, first you have to driver and generator, you are declaring the handles, and then you for the get, you have declared two things, okay? And then what you are doing, this gen h dot put port dot connect driver implementation. So the port and the implementation thing, these two will be connected. You are just declaring, you are putting the data, everything is done. But the actual connection is done in that particular top level container. So for this example, we are doing in the agent container. So in the connect phase, you will find this connect connection. So when you observe the architecture also, you just by seeing the architecture, you will know like where this connection will be exactly done in which component. So like for example, if it is an agent connection to some other connection, in the ENV you will be able to find that particular connection. If it is between the driver and generator, that is inside the agent, right? So that particular connection you will find in that particular top level what again, the top level component. So here the agent is the top level component. So you will have this port dot connect. Okay, is it clear for everyone? Hello, is anyone there or not?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
So you understand, right? Like when we use port, when we use the implementation port, at which all those things. Have you got it?
Yes.
So this is, we have already discussed, right? Means the put, peek, get, what are the different methods we have. So why they are called as blocking methods? Because they block the execution, we have already discussed now. So it will not wait for the target to complete. So it will just go with the next flow. But for the non-blocking means it will not wait. But here it will actually, it is a blocking means one it is done, then only the other part will be, it will execute like that. Is it clear?
Yes.
So we also discuss TLM5O. What is the importance of the TLM5O, right? Like we have something called bridge between the different protocols. Like that we have TLM5O. Now the producer can put the data into the TLM5O in its own pace, and the consumer can retrieve the data from the TLM5O in its own pace. So this TLM5O ports will be used in such way. So if I show you the different things, actually these are the implementations, right? This implementation side. We can also have the port to export also. The port to export means when we want to connect the components at the same level of hierarchy, then we can use the port to export. If it is from the different hierarchy, you can use the implementation also. We will go through that example also. In this TLM5 only we have used this. So in producer side you have taken put port, and the consumer side you have taken get port. So this is the different scenario. Here you are doing put and here you are doing get. Okay, and now we need the connection, right? The end connection. So that we will show it here. So that what we'll do in TLM5O, we are connecting the put port with the FIFO. Means here it is connected to the FIFO, right? So here this is port and this is export. Again, this consumer is port and from here it is export, right? So the implementation. So this is connected to the FIFO and this is connected to the consumer. So how you will understand this through the code is, the put port means the producer which is there, right? The dot put port and dot connect of FIFO H dot put export means it is connected to the FIFO and that is connected to the FIFO put export. So at the producer side we have the port connection and the other side we have the export connection because they are belonging to the same hierarchy, right? So we can use the export as well. So at the consumer side you are trying to get, because from the TLM5 it is trying to put, right? There is some component between the producer and target also. In those cases you can use this hierarchical level connection. Means like there is something called hierarchical level connection also. I'll show you that also. So for this you can understand like CSH means the consumer, get port dot connect of the FIFO export. Is it clear for everyone? Why no one is responding?
Yes, yes.
Any queries so far?
You can show like one example for this. Try running.
Yeah. Once after the hierarchical connection is also done, then we will go through the example in our verification of the memory based, which we are referring for all the other things, right? That will go through. So the hierarchical connection means nothing but here we have something like, see, the stimuli is connected to TLM5O, that is connected to this, okay? So now whatever is there here, we will directly connect this to the this particular consumer, right? So that means this entire connection is already there. So from now this to this, if you want to go, it is going from one hierarchy to the other hierarchy. Means for example, this is all in the one hierarchy. So now this only is what we have used here, right? Dot put port connect of put port only. Here also we have port itself. Here also we have port. So based on your architecture, you have to do your coding. Whatever they have means pictorial representation is there, right? So this is port. This is also port. So now this port has to be connected to this export or the implementation port, right? So these both are under the same hierarchy only. So in that case, you can use the export. So basically, hierarchical connection is nothing but we are passing the connection from one component to the other component, other component like that. So I will show in the memory verification also where we have the agent inside env, all that, right? So how we use the hierarchical dot connection to get the access of that particular instance. Likewise, now it is port to the export. So now here the export to this connection to the export itself you will be having. So we don't have the top level connection of this. So you just can go through only whatever we have for this. Okay? We will go to the code. It's easy to understand. So now in all the cases where we have left the connect phase, no, those things we will see. For example, let's see in the agent itself. So agent, what we need to connect, can anyone tell me? So anyone can tell me, seeing the architecture, you just open the architecture if you have noted somewhere, and just tell me what connections we need to do. Where and all we would be having the connections.
We have connection from scoreboard to monitor.
Okay. So where will be having that scoreboard to monitor? In the ENV, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So see, but where is our monitor is there, that we have to find out. So the monitor is there inside the agent, right? So I have to write like write agent dot write monitor dot inside that write monitor we will be having the port, means which component you are connecting to the other component. Inside that component you will be having the port, right? So whatever in monitor, now I will go and see what is the port name. Actually, it is a write monitor. You need to look the write monitor. So here, I have to go and see what is the port name. The port name is write monitor underscore AN underscore port. This is my port name, right? So now, and here also we have to, if it is a port, there is a difference if you guys have observed or not, like we have UVM component like that. But the different ports, we have the different syntax for that, like UVM analysis port. So here we are using analysis port. If it is a TLM blocking port, this is different. TLM FIFO means it is different. So you guys go through what are the different port names we have for the TLM, different ports and exports. So which one you have to use it. So just go through that. So here we are using analysis port. How do I understand it? Seeing this. So this is the UVM analysis port which we are using. So this we have to use inside the ENB. Where is it? Inside the monitor, right? So that you have written like write monitor. So the write monitor dot analysis port dot connect. Now she said now we have to connect the monitor to the scoreboard. So in the scoreboard is inside the ENV itself, right? So we need not write any hierarchical connection here. So the scoreboard dot that the whatever export which we are using, that you will find inside the scoreboard. I think yesterday we have gone through the scoreboard as well. Yeah. So if you see here, I have taken the for write I have taken one analysis FIFO, and for read we have taken one more. So this we have to use it here. Okay. Go to the transaction. Where is ENV, right? So you have to declare that, and you have to give the analysis export. For analysis port, the implementation would be the analysis export. So they are under the same hierarchy also. So you can just connect from the monitor to the scoreboard. You first go through what are the different TLM ports are there, different kind, and what is the implementation, what is the port we have, and for that particular port, what is the implementation. Should we use underscore IMP? Should we use underscore export? So that you just go through what it is, and then you will get an understanding. Okay. And we have one more agent. So as we what is there for write agent will be same for the read agent also. Just that the things will change. In the read monitor will be there. And here we will be having the scoreboard, and inside that we'll be having some other analysis export. So that you have to take care here. And the other connections you will find in the agent. So let's go to the agent connection. So in the agent connection, what connections you will be having?
We have sequencer to driver and
Yeah.
Interface to driver.
Yeah. So, but the interface is we are just designing, but so far we don't know the interface part, right? So let's ignore that. The other thing is what the sequence item to the sequence item export. So that we are doing in the agent connect phase. So this is by default, it should be this only, item port and item export, because this is the driver sequence handshake is already there, right? So which we are trying to reuse it. So you cannot do anything related to analysis or something. You cannot change it. This is standard. You just remember that this inside the agent from the driver to the sequence, we have to do the same way. Okay. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes.
So the TLM ports, anyone will be able to answer, right? If it is anything asked related to the TLM. Okay. If anyone have any queries, we will continue. Otherwise, we will end the session.
And previously I asked in driver if we are
You be
having.
little louder, and I really don't understand.
And previously I asked about driver movement. If my
Yeah.
driver is parameterized with two transaction classes, how will
Okay.
I differentiate
So
get next item method?
you will provide
My,
that particular transaction, right? When you are sending it, means from the request where you are, or the sequence item, you will be passing that particular transaction, right? Means trans hedge, for example, right trans hedge. You are passing right trans hedge itself. So the driver will definitely, as it's a handshaking process there, it will get to know that you are passing the right trans hedge only. Means if you see here in the driver also, wait. Right driver we have, right? We are passing the RAM right trans. So it means this driver will understand it, from this right driver we will get only the right transaction things. And if it is a read transaction, you will pass that, right? So whatever transaction is it, those things only we will pass it here. And you cannot pass two things at this once, right? You can only pass one.
okay, so I can't pass two different type of transaction item at the same time.
No, you cannot. If you want in the sequence only, you can have the different changes. Means whatever things, like, let me see. So this is the things are there, right? You have to create one more sequence item, and you have to pass the different transit here. So whatever transit you pass it over here, that it will assume that you are passing the different transaction.
Okay.
Then there is no hard rule that you have to parameterize only. You can remove the parameterization also, and you can create one more start item here. Start item as a, and one more finish item. In the same sequence, you can have multiple start item, finish item as well.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else have any queries? Okay, so I'm assuming that everyone is clear with everything. And so if you have any queries further, you just go through the recordings once again and just be clear with the, because these the TLM codes and all, it is not something to understand also, right? It is just the names which they have given. They have something like UVM TLM 54. That's for the 54 which we have to use. So just get familiar with the different codes what we have to use, what are the macros we are using now, like this UOT, QVM, object utils. These all things you have to remember. There is no other option. Like you just have to remember, like this is an object utils, this is a macro, and component utils. The more projects you work, more times you write the code, you will be habituated to it. So if you observe here, there is something called TQVM do, TQVM do with, right? So if I want to eliminate all these things, all these four lines which we have, we can just replace all this with a single macro, like TQVM do of trans. So if we do this, this macro will, can anyone tell me what is a macro? So what do you understand when we write TQM object utils? So it is performing some function right at the back end. Like this object, we do like how we ask what is the source code. Like so for every macro there will be a source code. So we are just converging that source code into a single line macro, where this will go now just by writing TQM object utils. It doesn't mean that there is only one line over there. This macro will have some set source code where it will execute that entire code, and where there will be methods to register this class or the sequence inside the factory. Likewise, this TQVM do inside source code is nothing but this one. This will create the transaction, the start item it will give, and then if we are, it will randomize. If we are trying to give some inline operations, then you have to use the TQVM do with. Otherwise, you can directly use TQVM do where the transaction will happen. Randomization also will happen. And then after the finish item will also get executed. So if you want to eliminate all these 4 lines, in that case, you can just write this particular line number 13 or line number 14. But if you want to achieve this, you have to use line number 14 because you have some constraint, right? So you can mention all, this entire thing here in the width. Okay. So this way, you can eliminate the 4 lines of code with single line of macro. So is it clear for everyone? Anyone have any queries? We will go through. Otherwise, we will just end the session.
Ma'am, where we will call that body method, body task in sequence?
Yeah, inside the sequence.
Document.
Okay, then let's end the meeting. And tomorrow, Saturday, we will not have the session. Again, we will meet on Sunday. So by then, just go through all the concepts which we have gone through so far. Like Vinay, you said you have not gone through the first and second record, right? So you will get time to listen to all those and just make sure that you are also aligned with the other people by Sunday. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.